Hello. Hello.
I would like to greet everyone a very lovely Thursday afternoon, the afternoon full of learning and experiences. A very warm welcome to faculty members, students, and research scholars. I thank Principal Dr. Rajesh Kumar Mahajan for providing us platform to get an exposure about what the best of brains think. I extend my deep sense of gratitude to our honorable guest, Dr. Rakesh Kumar Mahajan. Dr. Rakesh Kumar Mahajan is a distinguished academician and noted administrator. He is an MSc in Chemistry and PhD from Guru Nanak Dev University, Amritsar. He specializes in physical chemistry, analytical and environmental chemistry. Dr. Rakesh Kumar Mahajan is an ex-Vice Chancellor, DAV University, Jalandhar, Dean Faculty of Sciences, GNDU, Dean Colleges, GNDU, Professor and Head Department of Chemistry, GNDU, Amritsar. Dr. Rakesh Kumar Mahajan is a recipient of Professor P.K. Bose Memorial Award by Indian Chemical Society. He has also been awarded CRSI Bronze Medal by Chemical Research in Society of India and has also got several international awards for research. Professor Mahajan is an elected Fellow of National Academy of Sciences and has published more than 170 research papers in the national and international journals of repute. He has handled 11 major research projects funded by DST, CSIR, BARC and UGC. He has guided 28 students for their PhD degree. He is also a reviewer of various journals and is a member of many scientific societies. We welcome you, sir. I request I request Dr. Mahajan to please share his views on chemical sensors. During the webinar, please keep your audio and video mute. And if there is any query, you can please ask in the chat box after the webinar. Dr. Rakesh Kumar Mahajan, over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. First of all, I would like to thank.
Dr. Rakesh Kumar Mahajan, am I audible?
Yes, I can see you also, and is audible. Am I? Can you listen me? Hello.
Dr. Rakesh Kumar Mahajan, am I audible?
Yes.
You are
Yes.
also audible, sir. You can start.
Yes. Okay. Thanks for the introduction. And
Thank you, sir.
I first of all, I would like to thank your principal, Dr. Jesh Mahajan, and also Dr. Sharma, Suresh Sharma, for inviting me to deliver a talk on chemical sensors. Uh, hello, hello, hello.
हाँ जी सर। हाँ जी सर।
सुन रहे हो आप सब मेरे मेरे को? हेलो.
सब सुन रहे हैं
हाँ
सर।
जी सर।
So before I start with the talk, let me introduce a little bit what chemical sensors are and what type of sensors I will be talking about. Let me take little bit of preliminary about the sensing ability of different techniques. You have heard about the electroanalytical methods of analysis. You must have read about the electroanalytical methods of analysis. In electroanalytical methods of analysis, what we actually, uh, the four parameters are involved. One parameter is the electroanalytic is the potential. Second parameter is the uh, volts, and the third parameter, that is the concentration, and the next parameter can be the current and also the time. So there is a relationship between the potential and the concentration. There is a relationship between the current and the concentration, and there is also a relationship between the concentration and the time also. So these parameters, when other parameters are constant and two parameters are involved, for example, potential. If current versus concentration, then we are talking about the voltammetry. And if there is a time is also involved, then we can have the uh, chronopotentiometry or chronovoltammetry. Chrono stands for the time. So in whole of my this lecture, because this is a I suppose that you must have studied the potentiometry. So this lecture will be based on the potential measurements across the electrode system and how this potential difference can help us to know the concentration of the different analytes. And you should keep in mind your pH metry. pH metry is also a chemical sensor. It is a sensor which senses the hydrogen ion concentration. So sensor is nothing else, but they are, can I have next slide? Next slide, please. Hello? Hello? Next slide.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So if you look at the chemical sensors, so chemical sensors basically are the small devices that can be used for the direct measurement of the analyte in the simple matrix. It is a small device only, and also capable of responding continuously and reversibly, and does not perturb the sample. Means that it gives us the values, and those values are not being interfered by the other interfering matrices. For example, if you talk about the potentiometry or in pH metry, it measures the glass electrode, which is the basic chemical sensor for the hydrogen ion, is not being interfered by the sodium ion or potassium ion or other ions. So it is a accurate, gives the accurate and also the reproducible results without any interference of any other ions. And that is why they are also called selective ion sensors. There are different names: selective ion sensors, chemical sensors, or the sensing ability of the different species. And also what is needed is that very small amount of the volume is needed, and you can keep your sensor in the field and can determine the amount of your ions or cation or anions in the field, and online monitoring can be done. Because of these methods, these sensors, they find different users in many of the industries, environmental industries, agriculture, as also the some different pharmaceutical industries. Next, please. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yes. No, previous one, not this one. No, not this one. Previous slide. Yes. So there are two main themes are involved in these sensors, chemical sensors. One is the selectivity of the sensor. Selectivity of the sensor means that what you are thinking of, that it is selective to particular ion or not. And the second thing is how to sense it. Sensing ability depends on what type of the transaction you are using is. For example, if you are using the electrochemical methods where you are using the electrode system, you are talking about the potentiometric or amperometric sensors. Potentiometric sensors, generally we take a selective compounds, neutral carriers for cation and anion recognition. And in amperometry, where you use the current measurement as a function of concentration, and there we use the redox system, where reduction and oxidation take place. There are other sensors also. If you are using the colorimetric sensor, there is a change of color is taking place with the addition of an ion or cation in some compounds, not interfere by the other compounds. We call it as a potential the colorimetric sensor. We have a fluorescence sensor. We have an NMR sensor. You can use any technique where you can see that there is a change of any anything. For example, in potentiometry, for example, current in amperometry, for example, color in colorimetry, for example, in fluorescence quenching or quenching, or in an NMR chemical shift is taking place. So all these techniques, spectroscopic techniques or electroanalytical techniques, can be used to sense the ability or sense the anion or cation or neutral species even. So in my talk, I will not cover up all these sensors, but I will be talking about only the potential is potential change take place, and with that the concentration determination is being done. So can you go to the next slide? Next slide, please. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide.
It's third line.
Next. This I have covered. Next slide.
Next line. Oh. This one?
Hello. Yeah, this one is a this one is a classification of ISE, ion selective electrode. So ion selective electrodes, they can be combined. If you see, you must have studied in your BSc level also the pHmetry, potentiometry. There you must have studied the classification of the ion selective electrodes. They can be of primary ion selective electrodes. Primary ion selective electrodes are generally, they take into account the crystalline electrodes, non-crystalline electrodes, field effect transistor sensors, and there is also the compounds layer ion selective electrodes, where you can see that you can have a gas sensing electrode or enzyme electrode, where you talk about the biosensors, that you can determine the glucose sensor, for example, the is the biosensors, and also the all solid state ion selective electrodes. So what I will be talking about here is the electrodes which will be non-crystalline electrodes. That is that it will take up into the some type of the compounds, and those compounds will be put into the sensors, into the membrane, and that membrane can be used as an ion selective electrode. Remember that you must keep in mind your glass electrode, which is a membrane electrode, that is sensing only the hydrogen ion concentration. Glass, combined glass electrode you have been using in pHmetry, that is also an ion selective electrode, selective toward hydrogen ions. So next slide, please. Next, yes. So to perform any measurements, what is needed actually in the laboratory? You need an ion selective electrode, which is selective to particular type of the ion, because a single electrode cannot work as a cell. So with that, you need a reference electrode. You know, you must have heard that the different reference electrodes being used are the calomel electrode, silver chloride electrodes. All these electrodes, they are the reference electrodes, well-known reference electrode, which can be easily prepared in the laboratory. You can prepare ion selective electrode also in the laboratory, and I will tell you how to prepare it. And when you have the two electrodes, one is the ion selective electrode and other is the reference electrode, they are being connected to measuring device, which is a potential measuring device, simple voltmeter, which measure the potential across these potential difference across these electrodes. So you measure the electrode potential across these electrodes, and that is what is needed. Is now we will see what is an ion selective electrode is, what is the reference electrode is, how they are being prepared, and how they are being used. Next, please. Next slide, please. And if you look at this assembly, there is these are the two electrodes which are being shown here. One is a ion selective electrode, and if you see that ion selective electrode, in this ion selective electrode, there is also one arrow which shows that there is a membrane here. Membrane is there, and this ion selective electrode that is on the left hand side, that is the ion selective electrode having a membrane, and this is like in a pHmetry is a glass membrane. But here we will not talk about the glass electrode, we will talk about the other electrodes which we have prepared in our laboratory and which you can prepare also and can start with your research. And there we also add membrane. In that electrode we add the internal solution, internal electrolyte, and in this internal electrolyte we add the reference electrode, that the internal reference electrode, that is the silver chloride. On the right hand side is the reference electrode, and that reference electrode is maybe a silver chloride, or you can take even calomel electrode. And both these electrodes, ion selective electrodes and the reference electrode, are being corrected through this potential device. If you look at the potential device, which is being shown by the arrow, measure the potential difference across this membranes. So this is a circuit assembly. One is ion selective electrode combined with the reference electrode and the measuring device. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Next slide. Yes. Now, if you look at the ion selective membrane, or ion selective electrode contains the membrane, and membrane is nothing else. But membrane, if you define membrane, is defined as a fine continuous layer having much larger area than thickness, and it forms a sharp boundary between the two solutions. When I talk about the two solutions, I am talking about the internal solution and the in a beaker where you keep the external solution. So that is the membrane. Membrane is just a fine continuous layer. And for an ideal ion selective membrane, a semi-permeable membrane is required, which allows only to pass through it the particular type of the ion and prevent other type of the ions, and they generate the electrode potential. Now, the meaning of this is that the ion membrane electrode is basically selective to particular type of the ion. So think of the pH meter where you have a glass bulb where glass membrane is there. It allows only to pass the hydrogen ions to the internal solution or to the external solution. Does not allow any other ion. That is why it is selective to hydrogen ion concentration. So similarly, the membrane which you prepared, it should not be interfered. It should not allow to pass the other type of the ions. So ion selective membrane should have the ion selective should have a minimum electrical resistivity, solubility, swelling, and excellent selectivity to a particular type of the cation or an ion in comparison to the other. Means it should be a stable one. It should not be soluble in the solution. It should not be. It should not swell. It should show the excellent selectivity to particular type of the ion, not being interfered by the other ions. No interference of the other ion. So To prepare an ion selective membrane, generally the polyvinyl chloride, which is a polymer, is being used to make the membrane a pseudo-solid sensing membrane. So this is the properties of the ion selective membrane, or a definition of the ion selective membrane is. Next slide, please. So to prepare an ion selective membrane, what is needed is, you need four things. You need four things. One you need is the electroactive compound. And that electroactive compound is generally called ionophores. Electroactive compounds can be any compound. Can be any compound which is having some cavity or having some affinity towards particular type of the ions. And that electroactive compound is then used along with the plasticizer. Plasticizer is nothing else but it is a softener. Then you need an ionic additive to have a membrane, and then you need also the polymer matrix like polyvinyl chloride to provide the mechanical strength to the membrane. So these four things, when you take in small quantities and mix themselves in such a way, and you will get a transparent membrane. Now this transparent membrane, how to prepare it, and before preparation, what is the electroactive compound is, what is the plasticizer, what is an ionic additive, what is a polymer matrix, and how much amount of this to be taken is. So let me take you these different compounds. So next slide, please. Now look at the electroactive material, which is actually our ionophore, selective to particular type of the ions. So this is a main component of our ion selective electrode, our main component of our sensor, our main component of our membrane. And this main component of membrane, this can be a neutral molecule, can be a charged compound, and this charged compound or neutral molecule must be able to complex the ions. Maybe ion, when I say ion, means cation or anion, and it should complex in such a way reversibly, and it should transfer them through the organic membrane. So that's why what is known as a ionophore is. So this ionophore can be any compound, neutral compound. Maybe a neutral compound like your calexerin molecule. Maybe a neutral compound like your chronoethers. You know, chronoethers, calexerins, or other type of the compound, they have the cavities. They have the cavities, and these cavities, they entrap certain type of the cation inside it. Chronoethers, you know, they can entrap sodium ions, lithium ions, potassium ions, like that. So these electroactive compounds, ionophores, they have the different property. They have the properties to capable of selective complex formation with the primary ion. When I say primary ion, that is the ion for which the ion selective electrode is being made. That is, for example, when I say the glass membrane, So primary ion for this is hydrogen ion. So the membrane should be selective. It should form a selective complex formation with the primary ion. It should be unresponsive to other cations or anions. That is the second property, that it should form a complex with the primary ion and should not be interfered by the other anion or the cation. The third property is the ionophore must that be retained in the membrane phase. That membrane which you have prepared, ionophore should come into it. Ionophore which is containing your electroactive compound or which contains your ionophore, that membrane should have these ions, and these ions should move freely. They should move to the internal solution as well as to the external solution. Movement should be freely, and also the kinetic should be fast. Kinetic should be the fast in sense that it should be a reversible process. If the ion is going into the from the external solution to the membrane to the internal solution, vice versa it should come also through the membrane. Then also the only property which is associated that it should not have a high stability constant. The ion and the complex formation of the ion with the compound should not be so stable that it should not come that it should not entrap in such a way that it should not leave the ion so freely. So ion movement should be free, or transfer of the ion should be kinetic, should be fast. So this is the properties of the electroactive materials. This can be an even your complex, your metal complex, which can also extend its coordination number and can take up the anion or other ligands selectively. So selectivity is very important here. It should not be responsive to the other ions. And next slide, please. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Hello.
नेक्स्ट कर दिया सर?
Next, I cannot see on my screen. It's not visible.
Sir, it has
Not
done by
visible.
our side.
Neha, it's not visible.
Okay, sir. We
It's not being displayed on the screen.
okay, sir. We are checking if there is any problem.
So,
Sir, we are sharing again. Our side it is visible.
एक्शन लॉस्ट हो गया।
इंटरनेट बंद हो गया
किसका?
का
सर मेरा तो चल रहा है। एक चलेगा ना ऑटोमेटिक। अच्छा ठीक है।
रियलमी है क्या?
हाँ जी हाँ जी। एक मिनट। Is it visible now, sir?
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
Thank you very much. So next component, to prepare an ion membrane, you need an ionophore. Then you need an plasticizer. Now the plasticizer generally influence the dielectric constant of the membrane phase. And uh, the plasticizer is added to the membrane to make the membrane uh, a soft one, and so that the chemical, physical, and the electrical properties of the different membranes prepared can be uh, can be see that there is a free addition and free movement of the um, ions take place. If membrane is hard, then it cannot move. So generally the plasticizer which is being used is generally a ester is being added. Some esters, maybe dietyl sabacate or other type of the esters are being added. Now the next one, next slide. The third component. Hello. Next slide, please. Ionic additives. Generally the salt of lipophilic anion and hydrophilic cation normally added to the to improve the performance of the membranes. And the common additives which are being added, that is generally the salts of are surfactant, surface active agents like sodium tetraphenyl borate,
Sir, you are not audible to us. Sir, your mic is off. Please unmute. Rakesh Mahajan, sir, you are not audible to us. So please unmute your mic. Sir, mute क्या हुआ? It is muted, sir.
is okay.
Yes, sir.
So next slide, please. Yes, the fourth component is the polymer matrix. I have told you that the polymer matrix is generally the polyvinyl chloride is being used as an inert matrix. This provides the mechanical strength, stability, and the elasticity to the membranes. You can use also other polymer like polystyrene, polysiloxane, polyamide, or polyimide can be used for the membrane. Okay, now we have spoken about the four components which are being needed for making an ion selective membrane is. Now, what composition is needed is, for example, common membrane composition is You need polymer medicine like PVC 33%, and then you need ino4 1.5%. The plasticizer you need is 65%, and additives you need just 0.5%. So it means the the what you need is just a small amount of the substances. For example, if I want to make an uh, iron selective membrane, and the iron selective membrane which was prepared uh, early uh, by taking an antibiotic, and that antibiotic was nonacin. Nonacin was an antibiotic which was used, and this is available in many of the books, which is capable of capable of extracting the sodium ions. Sodium and potassium ions were determined in the blood samples by taking the different type of the antibiotics. Nonacin, nonacin is an antibiotic which was used for the detection for making an unselected membrane of uh, making an membrane of selective for sodium ions. And or you can also prepare. What you need is a small 10 uh, 10 centimeter uh, the uh, petri dish, and in that petri dish, what you need is the 33 grams of PVC, 33 milligrams, not grams, milligrams of PVC, and then the antibiotic just 1.5 milligram, or a plasticizer. Maybe you take some ester, which is so mix them themselves in the normal hexane, and you will see the membrane, and that membrane can be used now. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yes. Now you see the what is happening, process occurring on an ion selective membrane. And if you see that scale 1, in scale 1 is the membrane phase. And in that membrane phase, the two phases are there of the membrane phase. One phase of the membrane is pointing towards the internal solution. And the second phase, outer phase, is pointing towards the external solution, sample phase, internal electrolyte and sample phase. And what is in membrane? What you have is, you have an ligand, you have an ionophore that forms a selective complexation. If you see that M positive plus L, M positive is a cation, L is a ligand, which form a complex Lm positive, and in the membrane, it goes from the membrane to the, it comes, metal ion comes from the internal solution, forms a complex, and that membrane, that metal ion will go to the external phase. Now this external phase, this cation will go to the external phase or the sample phase. So vice versa. Similarly, from the metal ion, from this sample phase will come into the membrane, and this reaction occurs in the membrane and then goes to the internal solution. So because of these two process, one, that is the two type of the potential is being measured, being developed because of this reaction. One is a E-M, that the potential which is being developed at the membrane phase pointing towards the internal solution. And second potential is being developed, which is a EM double dash, that is the internal, the external boundary potential, EM double dash, and this EM double dash boundary potential is being developed at the boundary or at this phase which is pointing toward the external solution. So two potentials are being developed. One is the surface of the membrane which is pointing toward the internal solution, and other is which is pointing toward the external solution. So one is a internal boundary potential, other is the external boundary potential. So difference between the two, that is the difference between EM dash and EM double dash, will give you the ED, diffusion potential. And this diffusion potential become the backbone of our measurements. This is how is what is needed is that there should be a potential development should take place because of this ion exchange, because of this ion movement, because of the transfer of the ion from membrane towards the external solution and vice versa. Because of these two, the two potentials are being developed, and the difference of these two potentials will give you the diffusion potential, and this diffusion potential ED is directly proportional to the concentration of the metal ion, concentration of the cation or of the anion, of the M positive ion or of the M negative ion. So whatever measurement you are making it. So this is the backbone of our measurement. Potential is a function of the concentration. You change the concentration, you will have a different potential will be developed. This is how you can make a calibration curve. You know the calibration curve which is being made. You make a different concentration of the external solutions, 10 to the minus 1, 10 to the minus 2, 10 to the minus 3 molar concentration, different 10 beakers of external solutions of different ions, and put your membrane in each solution and measure the potential. And then plot a graph between the potential and the different concentration. You will get a straight line if it is selective to particular type of the ion. Next, please. So this is how you can make the calibration curve. Calibration curve can be made standard deviation method can be made, or you can even do the titration. These are the different type of the methods by which you can make the measurement of the concentration of the different substances. Next, please. This is a type of the response curve which you can see that there is a straight line. You have on the one side is the EMF, that is ED potential difference in millivolts versus the log A value, that is the log of the concentration, and you will get a straight line. And from that straight line, you can measure the slope. So if there is a 1 electron system, you know the slope can be 59 millivolts. If there is a 2 electron system, the dication is there, then you can have a 59 divided by 2 slope. That slope measurements and the detection limit. Detection limit, you can see that you can make a detection limit that there is a straight line. After that, there is a constant potential is being developed, and because of that, the low detection limit. Detection limit is the limit by which you can see that how much concentration can be determined. So in all these techniques, whatever the technique may be, the analytical chemist is always looking at the low concentration determination can be made, because in many of the matrices which you come across, the environment samples or the water samples or air samples, whatever sample you take, blood samples, they always have a low concentration of the cation or anion. That is why you need a sensor which can determine those concentrations. So once you have prepared the membrane, next slide please. Next. Important parameters are needed to see that membrane is working properly or not. Slope is the first thing which we have already spoken. That slope should be, for 1 electron system, should be 59 millivolts, which you can make from the calibration curve, the slope. Measuring range should be very high measuring range, that is maybe from 10 raised to the power -6 molar to 10 raised to -1 molar, something like that. Detection limit should be low. The response time, when I say response time, what is the response time? Response time is the time taken by the membrane to give a stable reading, stable potential. That response time should be very small. If the response time is say 2 minutes, 3 minutes or 6 minutes for getting a stable reading, then that membrane is not good. Membrane is good only when the stable reading you get within 20 seconds or 30 seconds or 60 seconds, something like that, within 1 minute. The next is the functional pH range. You know, the pH is playing an important role in the measurement. If pH is also changing and potential is also changing, then it is not good, because we should have a pH range in such a way that the range should be very high, and in that pH range there should be no change of the potential should take place. The potential should remain constant within that range. If the potential is also changing with the pH, then there is no fun of having that membrane. The selectivity is very important. Selectivity means that membrane which you have prepared, that is select. For example, you have prepared membrane for, let us say, sodium ions. Then if you have in the matrix sodium, magnesium, calcium also, and that calcium is also interfering, or magnesium is also interfering, then that will not be a good membrane. So selectivity is very important. For that, we must determine the selectivity coefficient, and I will let you know how to perform the determine the selectivity coefficient. Then the performance in the non-aqueous media, that you have certain non-aqueous media means you have a membrane. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello, हाँ जी सर.
Oh,
Hello, हाँ जी सर.
is it,
Hello, हाँ जी सर.
is not, can you display the, is not visible. Hello? PowerPoint आएगा. PowerPoint. Hello?
Hello.
Can you display the?
Hello.
Is not displayed.
Is it not visible to you?
No.
Okay, sir, then wait, please. Maybe some connectivity problem. Is it now visible, sir?
Yes.
Okay, sir.
Is okay. So the application part is that whether the membrane which you have prepared is the membrane which you have prepared is it can be used for the determination of the in real samples. That is the needed application part is. Next, please. Next slide.
Done, sir. Done, sir.
Next slide. You see here, I have told you that selectivity of the not the previous one.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. You know that I have told you that selectivity is very important of the ion selective membrane. It's an important parameter of any sensories, which defines the nature of the device and the extent to which it is may be implied in the determination of the particular type of the ion in presence of the other interfering ions. So that selectivity is being measured by the degree of selectivity for the primary ion with respect to the interfering ion B, and generally expressed in terms of selectivity coefficient. Neha, can you display again, because it's not displayed on my screen. What about other screen? Hello? Hello?
Sir, it is visible. It is not visible to you, but it is visible to us.
It is visible to you also?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then I have with me, I can go ahead with that. But you must do the next
Sir,
one.
again check the connectivity problem. Please wait. सर वो विजिबल नहीं है सर कहते हैं मैं उससे चल पड़ूं Okay, sir, you can continue from your side. It is visible
Okay.
to us. Okay, sir.
Okay. So selectivity is very important parameter. So if you have a primary ion and there is some interfering ion also in the solution, the selectivity can be determined very easily by using the different methods, and that potentiometric selectivity is generally defined in terms of K potential AB, where A stands for the primary ion, B stands for the interfering ion, different ion. So there are different methods by which you can determine the potentiometric selectivity coefficient. So one is a separate solution method, other is a mixed solution method, and third one is a matched potential method. Three types of methods are needed to determine the K potential AB. Remember that A is our target ion, and B is any ion, interfering ion, different type of the ion. So in separate solution method, what is being done? If you look at next slide, please. You can do next slide. In separate
We have
solution
done, sir.
method, you measure you have the two solutions. One is a solution, other is a B solution, and you put your ion selective electrode along with the reference electrode and the potential device, measure the potential of A solution as well as of B solution separately, and then you measure by using the simple technique. K potential AB is equal to AA, where AA stands for the activity of the A ion, AB stands for the activity of the B ion, ZA stands for the ZA over ZB. They are the charges on the A ion and the B ion. So this method is not good, because in a real solution we generally have the A ion also along with the interfering ion, primary ion and interfering ion. Therefore, the best method being used is the mixed solution method. And next slide, please. Mixed solution method. Next slide.
Done, sir.
Okay. mixed solution method, what is being done in mixed solution method? The two method in the you mix the two solutions, A along with B, and this method is good to determine the K potentially. Now, again, there are two procedures which you can follow. One is a fixed interference method. When I say FIM, fixed interference method, in R there can be a two solution method. In fixed interference method is a good method, and if you see in fixed interference method, what you do is take primary ion, take the primary different solutions of different concentrations. Let us say A ion, 10 beakers of A ion only, and different concentration of the A ion. 10 is minus 1 molar of A ion, 10 is minus 2 molar, 10 is minus 3 molar, 10 is minus up to 10 is minus 10 molar solution. And in each beaker, you add fixed amount of the B interfering ion. You add B interfering ion, and when you add interfering ion B, which is a fixed amount in all the 10 solutions, measure the potentials. Measure the potentials of all the 10 solutions, and then you note down the reading. When you note down the reading, you will see next slide, please. You plot a graph of potential versus the concentration of a having the same amount of the B. And at a point where the EA and EB are equal, at a G point, you measure the K potential AB. Again, by using the same formula, A2 over AA over AB raised to power ZA over ZB. That is the activity of A ion, activity of B ion, the charges of A ion and charges of B ion. And this method is very good. And in this method, you can determine K potential AB. Now this K potential AB, the value of this is very important for us is that if the value of K potential AB comes to be 0 or negative, then that membrane is selective to particular type of ion. That membrane is good. If that membrane gives the values of positive values also, then that ion which showing the positive ion, positive value, that is interfering in the measurement of your A ion. So this type of the measurement is selectivity is very important to know that membrane which you have prepared is good or not for particular type of ion. So K potential AB value should be 0 or less than 0, means negative value. When it is equal to 0 means there is no interference at all. Only the A ions are there. When there is a negative, means B ions are not interfering at all. If the value is positive, then that ion is B ion is interfering in the measurement. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Can you see that slide match potential method?
Sir, we are on 21 slides, two solution method. Fixed interference method you have just discussed.
Yes, you can skip that.
Okay.
Come to the match.
Come to the.
Next slide.
Okay, okay.
Matched potential method. Next slide.
Okay, sir. Okay. Done,
And
sir.
you can see that in this selectivity coefficient is the activity ratio of primary and intermediate ions, which gave some potential change under identical conditions. And then this is a equation by which K potential can be determined. Next slide, please. Next slide.
Done.
So with this, we prepared in our laboratory some methods, some selective electrodes. If I have listed some of the membranes which we have prepared in our laboratory. One is silver ion selective sensors, cesium ion selective sensors, mercury 2 ion selective sensors, then chloride anion selective sensors, nitrate anion selective, hydrogen sulfate selective, surfactant selective, amino alcohol selective, urinary sensors, ion pair recognition. So all these sensors we have prepared long back in our laboratory, and these are being published in very good journals. I will take up only the few of these ion selective electrodes which we prepared in our laboratory. And if you see the first one, next slide, please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Done.
This is a silver ion selective sensors which find the applications of in silver is important, and also electrical equipment, tableware, jewelry, coins, etc. Pharmaceutical products like worm creams, dental amalgam, fungicides, antibacterial products, and it also affects on our human health and environment. Deposits in kidney, liver, skin, causes discoloration of the body tissues and ocular injury, toxic to neurological tissues, major component of heavy metal ion pollution in the environment. Next slide, please.
It's done, sir.
This is a few ionophore which we have used in our laboratory. We prepared the, if you look at the calexin molecule, and the calexin molecule calyx for arene derivatives. And if you see that spacers, there are the 10, 10 different spacers where you can see here. And we also use some of the ruthenium complexes. We also use some of the simple molecules of having sulfur and nitrogen atoms only as donor atoms, like 2, 6. All these have been used, these ionophores have been used to make a membrane which is selective to particular type of the silver ion. Only silver ion, no interference of the other ions. You know, the silver ions and the mercury ions, they are both are next slide, please.
Done, sir.
And if you see that silver ion sensor based on the shift base and shift base para tertiary butyl calyx,
ऑनलाइन क्लासेस
both
लेंगे
are
ना तो
seen.
पैटर्न पे सर्वाइकल तो ही जानी है
We used this calexin molecule first time, and we published many papers on this calexin molecules, because this is a when we did some extraction study, we find that this molecule is a very good candidate for silver selection, for silver extraction. So we put this compound in the membrane by using PVC membrane, and 10, 10 compounds we took, because this spacers are different, 10 compounds. So 10 compounds we took, and we find that this is very good selected toward the silver ions. Now the beauty of this complex is that mercury interfered to a little extent to this. But earlier reports, all those reports which were available in the literature, silver, no other sensor of silver was available because mercury was interfering like anything. This was the first report that the mercury does not interfere at all to some extent. The the mercury, why mercury and silver, they are interfering with the measurement of each other? The reason is very simple. The reason is that the silver ion and the mercury ion, they have a similar ionic radii. Similar ionic radii, because of similar ionic radii, they interfere in the measurement of each other. So next slide. Yeah. So these 10 compounds, they show this response curve. The very beautiful response for the silver ion selective membrane. Next one.
Yes, sir.
This is
Done,
the
sir.
this is the composition and the ion electrode characteristics of the silver ion 10 compounds of the, which is a E1 to E10. And if you see the how much PVC we took in milli in percentage, and also the DOS, dioxide sabacate, which is a softener, and inophore, that is a collector molecule, we just took 1.5. The linear range which it can be measured, that is from 10 to minus 1 molar to 10 to minus 5 molar. So this is the linear range, and the slope was also very good. You know, silver is silver positive, silver 1 positive. So the slope was 59. So 59, around 59. If the slope is 59, means it is working very, and the detection limit, low detection limit is 10 to minus 6 molar. So this is how the composition electrocharacteristics of the silver ion, which we prepared of the 10 electrodes of these 10 compounds by using the dioxide sabacate and PVC membrane, and that membrane was used as an ion-selective membrane, and this was only selective towards uh, the the silver ions. No interference of the other ions. Next slide, please. And if you see that in the next slide, if you see that effect of the pH of the silver ion, the pH range is from 1 to 7. In 1 to 7 pH range, in all these 10 ion selective electrodes, the potential remains constant. The potential remains constant in this pH. So measurements can be done in this pH only. And if you see after 7 pH, there is a after 7 pH, there is a drift. No more the potential remains constant. The reason being is that the silver hydroxide is being formed. The silver gets hydrolyzed. So that is why in the basic media, after 7 pH, in the basic media, hydroxide is being formed. Silver hydroxide is being formed. So the pH, best pH range is now 1.1 to 7, where measurements can be done. Next, please.
Done, sir.
This is the effect of the plasticizer. Different plasticizers were taken, and it was found that the linear range and the slope was found in diethyl sabacate, and therefore diethyl sabacate was used in all these measurements. Next slide, please. This is a table which shows the potentiometric selectivity of the silver sensors. I have told you that the log K potential value silver, log K potential silver, where B is your diverse ion. This B can be your diverse ion means potassium, sodium, ammonium, magnesium, calcium, then the barium, then you can have nickel, cobalt, copper, lead, mercury, cadmium, zinc. All these cations, they are the interfering ions. Studies were done by using a different type of the cations also along with the silver ion. And you see all these values are negative. All these values in this table are negative, except in maybe in mercury. Mercury also there is a negative. There is no interference of the mercury. So no interference of mercury was uh, found in the measurement of the silver. So that is why we were able to publish this these silver selective membrane very easily, very quickly in this. And next, please. This is a
Yes, sir.
titration. What we did is we titrated the silver ions or the chloride ions by the silver selective by adding silver ions from the bread or maybe chloride ion from the silver ion in the beaker and chloride ion there. By titrating with the sodium chloride, there is a also potentiometric potentiometric titration was measured, where you can see the measurement of the silver ions can be made from the potentiometric titration. Next, please. This is another one, which is a of ruthenium, which is being used for the silver ions. And if you see that only we made for different ions, but only a good curve was obtained for the silver ions, and we were able to uh, make a. So this is also the composition, the composition of the ruthenium potentiometric titration. Uh, next, potentiometric response curve are obtained. Next slide, please. This is effect of pH, and this is the potentiometric selectivity, which is zero, below zero, no interference at all. Next, this is effect
Yes,
of
sir.
pH, which, uh, pH range, where you can see also there wide pH range is there available, and this is the potentiometric titration, potentiometric titration, potentiometric selectivity, where you can see that all are below zero value, log A value of silver with the other ions. Next, the next slide.
It's done, sir.
This is uh, the second derivative curve, first derivative curve, sorry, first derivative curve, which shows the endpoint also by titration of the silver ion with sodium chloride, and can be titrated, and a sharp endpoint can be obtained. From that volume of the sodium chloride, you can determine the concentration of the silver ions. And this is the next slide, please. This is the estimation of silver content in real samples. Silver foil ornament. Volumetric method also we determined also by taking the ion selective electrodes, and the coated graphite electrode here we used. We took graphite and coated with the membrane, and we find that the values are good as compared to the volumetric method. They are comparable methods, so electrode works very nicely. Next. This is a cesium selective electrode. Next, please. Cesium selective electrode. This is again Calyx 4 ester, ether esters. So the purpose of showing Dr. Sharma, should I stop now?
Sir, after 5 minutes.
I think so. All our others are similar values and other things. So if the students have any query or anything they
Yes,
want
sir.
to ask me, they are welcome.
ठीक है सर. किसी ने कोई क्वेश्चन क्वेरी करनी है तो
Any question anybody can ask, or
हम कर लो. बोल देने.
मैं बोलूं?
Thank you, sir.
hello.
Lecture.
I request participants, if they have any query regarding the topic, you can ask directly or write it in the message box.
What is your question, Meenakshi?
Yes, sir.
What is your question? You want to ask something?
No, sir. I am asking from the participant. If they have any query regarding the topic,
Okay.
they can
Okay,
ask
okay.
directly or write it in the message
Yeah.
box.
It's very simple, like just like your pH-metry or say potentiometric titration, potentiometric measurements, and we have about 20 years we have worked on these sensors and published about so many papers and well-known in well-known journals, and everybody knows that our group is working on these type of the sensors. Not only this, we are working on the voltammetric sensors also, and 4 or 5 students they got PhD with these type of the research work, and also you can display this type of the things, other type of sensors also to your um, participants. Any question?
Sir, I think there is no any questions. I hope the presentation was very well received by our participants, that they have no any query. So at the last,
Okay.
sir, thank you, sir, for a thought-provoking and a very well presented talk on a chemical sensor in this virtual learning program. It has enlightened us about introduction, types, properties regarding potentiometric measurement using chemical sensor. At the
Okay,
last,
thank you.
again, I thank you for your contribution, valuable time and effort for providing us useful information. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Okay, God bless all of you.
And
So nice. Thank you, Dr. Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you
dear participants, will be sent in the message box for the feedback performer. So please fill within a 3 or 5 minutes.
थोड़ी सी कनेक्टिविटी हाँ जी कल बिल्कुल ट्रेन से सबको विजिबल
We will share the feedback form in WhatsApp group also.
हम वो बाकी बची हुई पीपीटी हम शेयर कर देते हैं सर वो स्लाइड वाइज थोड़ा सा थैंक यू सर थैंक यू चार पांच स्लाइड आ गए